house, a Wendy house with wooden walls. During the night there was a gang fight, so they heard some shooting, but they were not concerned. Then in the morning they went to pick up their child from the cot, and one of the bullets had gone through the wall of the Wendy house into the child. And you can see the bullet was sitting next to the heart. This is a chest X-ray. You can see the big bullet next to this child. This was another little boy. There was a gang fight, and he was shot by a stray bullet, and he was hit by 2 bullets actually. And this is the last picture I'm going to show. It's a small baby, less than 1 year. Until this year we already had a few of them who were shot by stray bullets through the head. And most of them will result in terrible injury, and this child didn't make it. He was in intensive care for a few days when he died. So where are these kids shot? Now, of course, we all know that most of the violence is occurring in certain areas, but what's from the child perspective is very important is that the child is not shot far away from his home. He's in the house or in the yard where he lives and grows up, and that's where they're shot. So they're really, these stray bullets are a danger for them in their own place. So we all know that about 14 years ago now, the new Firearm bill came, and it's very complicated. I mean, it's hundreds of pages, but for me, I think what made the biggest impact was raising the minimum age from 16 to 21, the competency certificate, as well as the gun-free zones, and I think that is crucial in the bill. Now, we all know that the first hearings were in 2000. The law was adopted in 2002 and then implemented in 2004. Now, looking at the number of children coming to the Redcross Children's Hospital, you can see that from 1991 to 2000 there was a dramatic increase from less than 10 to 40. So then the new Firearm bill came into place, and it led to a reduction of about 70%. So it really had a massive impact, and we saw far less children. Now, the effect is not only on children. This is the effect on people being murdered in the various cities. And you can see, if you look at the green line here, this graph, the green line is Cape Town. The number of people being murdered in Cape Town nearly halved from 2001 to 2005. Now, we know this has to be an effect of the new Firearm. It's not a general trend that suddenly people in Cape Town became friendlier. Because if you look on the right side, this is the non-firearm death. They were remaining exactly the same. They were flat. It was only the number of gun-related deaths which dropped in these years. Now, people they always tell me they need a firearm to protect themselves. Is this true? From studies in the United States, it shows that from all shots fired in the home or in the yard, only 3% are in self-defense. So you've got your gun to defend yourself, but only 3% of the shots fired are in self-defense, and half of them are in self-defense against the partner. So basically it's a domestic fight in which one of the people grabs the gun which is in the house and shoots the partner. So if you do not take this into account, it means that the chance, if you've got a gun, the chance that you'll use it in self-defense against a stranger is 1.5%. So there is 40 times bigger chance that your gun is going to be used against you or your family or your friends. So this is just something to remember. Now, we all know that from studies in our own country, 84% of violent crimes involve a firearm. And of people who possess a firearm for self-defense, the chance that they wear it at the moment that you're attacked is very small. You can imagine if you've got a gun in your house and there's a burglar jumping over the wall, your gun is probably in the safe, or you're not carrying that gun all the time on you. So there's a very small chance that you actually, even if you've got a gun for self-defense, that you're actually carrying it at the moment you're attacked. So the people who've got a firearm for self-defense, they are 4 times more likely to have it stolen than actually that they use it for self-defense. And of course, we know where it goes. So what do we want? This is a picture from the United States. And it's a society saturated with guns. We all know that. And you can have a gun from the age of 16. And that is the only reason there are so many shootings. But I think it's amazing that a country which is in war in Afghanistan, as we know, for every soldier which dies in the war in Afghanistan, 13 children lose their life from gun-related violence. So just that ratio. Now, even in our own, this is just a clipping that I took from yesterday from the newspaper, and guns which were supposedly destroyed in Gauteng ended up in Cape Town. So, with other words, a policeman or a security person not doing his job in Gauteng, he can kill, that can cost the life of a child in Cape Town. Now, I've only talked about the physical effects predominantly on children, but what about the psychological and long-term effects? Of course, we all know it's very negative. I've got lots of stories in the hospital from parents and a family of kids who have got nightmares, they can't sleep. Their marks in their school are going dramatically down just because one child was shot in the class. And these kids, they go to school and they fear for their life. So it really has got a massive impact on them. And the guns are celebrated in the media. If you watch any TV channel, South African TV channel or private TV channel on Friday night, there's all these Skiet, Kop and Donner, murder and mayhem. What is interesting is that in all these movies and series, the person who pulls the trigger is usually the hero. He is the one who's celebrated. We never see the long-term effect. It's never visualized. What happens to the person? What happens to a child when they're shot? When they're paralyzed the rest of their life? How they sit in the wheelchair? We don't see that on TV. So children, it's known that children who grow up in an area with guns, they think it's normal and they are much more likely to start using them when they grow up. So in conclusion, Chair, guns have a devastating effect on our society. There is no doubt about that. Children are disproportionately affected by guns because they're always innocent. They are not the ones who are shooting, they're the ones being shot. And remember, in South Africa, 40% of our society are children. So 40%, 20 million, we've got 53 million South Africans, 20 million of them are children. They are sitting ducks, they are being shot by stray bullets, and they're taking the brunt. So I really strongly would recommend that the minimum age for a gun would be elevated to 25 years. And the reason for that is that your decision-making process to understand the future consequences of your acts, you need your frontal lobe, and your frontal lobe, which is the important part in this decision-making, is only maturing at the age of 25. So I think we can make a difference, and we did make a difference. We saw this number of children from 91 to 2000, which was increasing rapidly. Then we had a new firearm bill, so it was very successful. We dropped. And then we know that there were very few licenses issued in this period. But then, because of the backlog, in 2011, the South Africa Police Service, there was a backlog, and they licensed they gave license of about 1 million licenses in 8 months' time. And we'll see what happened. There's no doubt in my mind that this massive increase is a direct result of 1 million weapons which were rolling into the society. So I would like to end with quoting Nelson Mandela. He said that better society should be measured by the happiness and the welfare of children. So not in economic welfare and the size of your house or your salary, but how kids are doing. And kids are starting to do again very bad. So I really think that these amendments are helping towards that. And I think the new firearm bill should be made more effective. And I thank you for your attention.